Everyone, so in this video, we'll talk about strategies for user research. So this is kind of the things that you can do to try to find out about your users, okay? Just flipping through the slides, here's the kind of nature of it, why it's important. A couple of things we'll go over is user population, classifications of users. This persona is important, different types of personas, and then how you can actually use this in the design project. Okay, so one thing is users population. So this is the range of users that can be used for a particular product. So for example, this is about electronic goods aimed at a large population versus cockpits for fighter jets are aimed at a very particular population. And again, this is different than markets because markets, it's more about marketing versus user is about usage. So that's one of the biggest differences. The classification, so also it changes. It can be based on age, gender, and physical condition. Sometimes with marketing, we also talked about location, we talked about demographics, things like that. So, and again, it's age, gender, physical condition. So with the physical conditions, like somebody could be pregnant or not pregnant. So that's another part of it. Okay, so the user population, classification, and then the next thing is called sampling. So here's the thing, you've got this big, say you want to make that electronic device. You've got this massive population that you could possibly be advertising for or trying to get people to like. But what you do is, if you're researching, you do what's called sampling. So sampling, it takes certain individuals or certain types of people from this large population, brings it down, and you only need to test 5 people. Rather than testing 20, you just test 5 that have particular characteristics. This is randomly picking from that group, or it can be more specific and actually can focus down onto that individual. So that's what sampling means. So if you sample different user populations, this is important for extended essay as well as any research that you're using. It's a really good word, sampling. Okay, so sometimes sampling are different, and sometimes it refers to different extremes of people. And again, this is so as an example of these different samples. So everybody wants to learn about public transportation. We're doing something about public transportation, right? Lots of different people use it. So it's important when you sample, you get these different age, gender, and physical conditions. So you get somebody with a baby, you get elderlies, you get younger people, you get anybody who's disabilities, things like that, genders, whatever it is, you can find that. But the whole purpose is still public transportation, people coming on and off this transportation. So that's where that's where all of these people are small that represent this large user population. Okay? So other ways that some of these things can be, these are just some more examples. So ergonomics, we'll talk a little bit about that later, but these are more examples of things that you can use for sampling. And again, here's a little bit more detail, but, actually this one is specific to persona. So if we were talking about, if first sampling is all of those different people, then we go down to the individual. So if you can find somebody like this kind of fake person that represents your population or your sample, it's called a persona. So it's this fictitious person, it's not real. And what you can do, and I'm saying this for your design project, what you can do is create this persona for your product. And it includes things like a photo, personal information, work environment, attitudes, motivation, professional goals, any other quotes, things like that are what create this kind of persona, okay? Marketers can use this, or people can use this, and it's really important so then you know this is the type of person we're marketing towards. Secondary personas, it's not the first person, but maybe they would be influenced by the product in some way. And then there's an anti-persona. It's somebody who it's not designed for, so the complete opposite. You could potentially even create something like that, okay? A couple of lists. This is just more information. It's also called a scenario. So you can write this kind of story about your product and how they're going to use it, what they're going to be, how they're exposed to, when a user interacts, what the systems are, all about this user center design. So this is a scenario. It's also called a story. Again, just part of their persona. So as an example, this is this person, and here is their story. I'll let you read through it, but that's a little bit about their story. You can use this as posing, this is the market, this is the user that you're trying to get. And again, this could be based off of some research that you've done about population, about sample size, about who you're trying to market towards and why. Okay, here's other samples, other scenarios, good and bad. This is also really, really important for the teams because this can give you an idea of what type of product you're trying to create and who for. Okay, so here's other samples. Here's another example. This is a bit of a list. Here's things like important points. Again, you should do this. I highly suggest this for the design project. Here you're focusing on this particular persona. These are other samples. Here's more people as well too. Okay, so again, the focus, looking at users, looking at big population, focusing on the sample size and getting to individuals. And the reason you'll find this population based on what type of product you had. You kind of make your own decisions as a designer for this product of what you should be doing. Okay, so that's it. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. And thanks for listening.